I stand firmly in the fact that I'm one of the best to ever do this. For my city, for my coast, for my culture. This is my declaration.
This is the Best Rapper in LA podcast.
What up, though? Best Rapper in LA podcast. This is the episode about Varsity Blues.
Welcome to Varsity Blues, my personal therapy EP for color boys. Varsity Blues, Varsity Blues, Varsity Blues.
It is 2001, 2002 era. So what I was about 24-ish. I think some of these songs take place from 99 till about 2002 when this came out. The cover, I believe, was done by Dan Monick. Why did I name it Varsity Blues? Definitely experiencing my first bout of depression during this era. So it was expression of that. And during this time, I watched a lot of movies. I had a DVD, portable DVD player. And one of the first DVDs I bought was Varsity Blues, the movie, the whipped cream bikini.
Come here.
The Heavy Set Gentleman was funny. It was just, I love football.
Hey, Mom, let's roll!
I always wish I could have played in high school and college and those things. So it was football, some chicks, some 90210 drama, some drama that wasn't related to crack cocaine, domestic violence, and gangbanging, really. So it was drama outside of my drama, and I love that. That's why I read comic books. That's why I enjoyed 90210, Melrose Place, those things. I was ridiculed, but it was an escape for me. And, there's no real human existence without drama. So the drama was light, and those girls, and not making the team, not bail money, and gunshot wounds and shit like that. So this was supposed to be this was the cover. The cover, if you can't see it, of course you can't see it, but it's me standing on Pico Boulevard in front of Martin's Records. This is where I hung out, where I grew up off and on. I went to preschool across the street from this record store. My dad, I found out as I got older, went to this record store when it's called Cranes. And I don't know the whole story, the legend or the story I get somewhere, and forgive me to anyone who's related to these individuals. But the guy who owned it before Walker Martin got in a little debt with Walker Martin. So Walker Martin took over the store. And he really wasn't a music guy, but he loved music, but he wasn't in the music business per se. He was a hustler. And he took it over and became a father figure to me of sorts, and many others, Double K, so many others. That's One went there, Chase Infinite from Self Scientific, so many, Crondon, so many Los Angeles hip-hop, I guess now OGs, had come through those doors, and he was a guiding light and a force. He always had a fifth of Hennessy, 2 ounces of weed, and, $2,000-$3,000 in cash, and he was in the service, so he had a government issued or a military issued firearm as well, or something like that. Military class caliber weapon at all times. Jovial, rotund man as he got older. I loved him. So this was, for me to take this picture was like, this is my center, the center of my universe. It was a very grounding, a safe place as I was experiencing all this mental anguish and turmoil. This is after I've had my first nervous breakdown. I was living in Tucson at the time. I moved to Tucson to get out of LA because it was crazy for me and I needed a break. And I just found that my money could go further. I had lived in Tucson. This is my first time. I couldn't afford an apartment on a rapper's salary. I lived in a one-bedroom that had a pool and all kind of shit that I never could afford in LA. $450. I think my grandparents, some still had to co-sign for me because I had no credit. And I moved to Tucson. It was easy because it was still out the 10. The directions to my first apartment were get on the 10 East, exit for 8 hours, exit Grant Road, make a left, get to Alvernon, make a left. I'm on the right. Anyone who wanted to come visit me from LA, which no one ever did, could have got there with those directions. I had no idea that there was a such thing as poor white people or a white ghetto. So I get there and it's methy. I didn't know what meth was. We didn't have meth in LA. We didn't have a meth problem at the time. I don't know if we do now, but we had a crack epidemic. We didn't have a meth epidemic. And I went to check out the place. I saw white people. I thought, oh, shit, well, this is cool. This is a nice neighborhood. I hadn't really experienced poor white people at this time. So I see white people. I think it's an affluent neighborhood. Stupid me. First night I spent there, someone knocks on my door. They're trying to sell me a new trash can and chicken and breast and steak that they stole from the store. So I buy the chicken breast and the trash can. Through my time staying there, I once had a woman just walk in and sit on the couch in the middle of me and my homie Roland talking. I was like, yo, where's such and such at? I was like, who? Let's say, where's Johnny? I was like, Johnny doesn't live here. I don't give a fuck. Just give me some shit so I can get the fuck out of here. Sitting at my kitchen table, walked in my house, sat down at my kitchen table and demanded I serve her some meth. Wild. But I thought it was player because I could use my cordless phone and still be in the pool at the same time and take my business calls and distributors because I was selling little music making money you had a distributor called TRC. TRC was, I don't know what the fuck it stands for. It's based in Burlingame, California. Peanut Butter Wolf worked there originally. A lot of people worked there over the years, Rasco. And a lot of them used that place working there smartly to get their record labels or their artists or their career off the ground because they distributed records worldwide. So if they pressed up a 12-inch, they had the in with they were the ones calling the store selling them records, and they had become friends with some of these stores. So they're like, yo, I got a new record too. Would you pick up a couple of mine? And then boom, just because they got a homie on the other end of the line in Japan, their records are going everywhere. Meanwhile, I'm standing out on a street corner or on a cordless phone in a pool in Tucson. I will move back to LA at one point after I talk about it here. The girl who I wrote First Love about, she passed away, and I got the call from my homie T. Smith in Tucson, and I didn't know anybody. And this was a girl I was in love with. My first, true love. True love, where we had some it was kind of returned. She had a boyfriend at the time. She didn't tell me, but it was still we had a relationship. We would slow dance in her apartment all night and listen to music and cuddle and snuggle and make out and hold hands and smoke cigarettes and beaties and Newports and all the, romantic ghetto shit for me or kid shit, bad kid shit. Listen to Camp Low. Sing rap to each other. Love Jones soundtrack, Pulp Fiction soundtrack to give you a time and a space feeling like dancing to Preacher's Man with her is still one of my favorite memories.
Billy Ray was the preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered around and started talking, that's when Billy would take me walking. Out through the backyard we go walking. Then he looked into my eyes.
And when I got the call she died, I kind of just walked out like a zombie into the middle of the street because it was Tucson, no was out. I remember I think I maybe sat there for a while. I don't know if I wanted to die. I don't know what it was. And I just looked up at the moon and there was a halo, just a perfect circle of clouds with the moon in the middle, no clouds, and clouds all around the full moon. At that moment, I was like, I gotta go home. No one here, there's no one around me that felt that pain. It's the beauty of community. I think we as human beings are so far removed from community and human life. So I was like, I gotta go home. I packed my shit up. I went back to this area off of Pico. I got my first apartment a couple blocks up from this record store, back to this record store. And you can see all about the Benjamins posted in her window. I'm wearing a Letterman's jacket. I ran my first Living Legends Letterman's jacket because, like I said, I never got to play any sports. I probably mentioned it before, but I lettered in badminton. That was the one thing I lettered in freshman. in school, and after that, rap and weed definitely took over. I played badminton because it was mandatory at the time that you take physical education. They needed people on the badminton team. They had girls on the badminton team, and a sport that I could do high. We sucked. We were a black high school, and we sucked. There was also no one else on the team really, so I lettered. I got a varsity letter, but I never collected my varsity letter in badminton. So back to Varsity Blues, I made my own Letterman's jacket. I made a Living Legends one, and I made both of these in Tucson at a place on the south side. It was really cheap, but I made a blue, Crip blue, Dodger blue, MC, Murs Carter, Murs Crip in Mid-City, so many acronyms, but the MC and I'm an MC on the front, Murs on the left, left breast, a varsity, says varsity on the right sleeve, and on the back it says Mid-City's Finest. I'm wearing a blue Dodger hat. I am wearing blue Jordan 1s that had just dropped. This is what turned me on the Dunks. These were the first with the SB Nike Zoom sole in them. Second Jordans I bought. I bought every blue Jordans they bought, I would buy them. So I think at the time it was the 13s, and these were the only ones that were issued in blue. And these were a reissue of the first Air Force Jordan 1. So it was probably, like I said, between 99 2000, you shoe aficionados can figure that out. But they were so fucking comfortable. But yeah, blue shoes, blue shoelaces. There's also a guy, we had a party at some point, and these weren't the shoes, but people used to tell me, oh, watch how you dress. I'm a motherfucker, I've been dressing like this. Anyway, so still me, half a Crip, fake-ass Crippin', early in the morning. I think Dan Monick took this picture right after we did the Felt. This is right after Felt 1, and I don't know when we're going to tell the Felt story. I don't know if we're going to tell it with Slug, but telling the Felt story really has no effect on this right now. I think we might have to tell the Felt story before we tell Into the Beginning, but we'll see. Inside of the cover, I was called Varsity Blues for colored boys who've considered suicide when the Hennessy and chronic ain't enough. After the, for colored girls who consider suicide when the rainbow isn't enough. Book. Inside I have I think it's for the suicide note. I haven't read this in years. So, dearest family and friends, I am leaving you all this note as an explanation for the end of the beginning. By the time you read this, I read this task will have already been completed. So this task will already been completed, although this body of work may not surface until late February, sometime next year. Please rest assured that I am now in a much better place and have left far behind me the woe and the torment that brought on by the struggle of the young black male in the 21st century America. The music that accompanies this note embodies the emotional battles I have been fighting for the past 2 years. Hopefully, it provides some of you with the strength to overcome some of the demons that I couldn't conquer, in parentheses. I think it was poorly written on purpose. Me smoking an American Spirit ultralight under, like we lift up the CD and holding a fit the Hennessy. It's about 6 in the morning, smoking and drinking. That was my MO from probably 99 to 2001. Yeah, alcoholic still. And I think I was getting ready to get off the liquor, though. So yeah, and on the back is my girlfriend at the time, but she wasn't my girlfriend when these songs were recorded. First Latina I ever dated. At that point, maybe, in my eyes, maybe the hottest girl I dated, most exotic, as many American men like to say, highly offensive. So I'm joking, but in jest. But I think she was El Salvadorian and Filipina, so it was, definitely a unique mixture and a beautiful mixture of human being. And she was young, I was young. We were in love. First song is Varsity Blues, produced by Mums the Word, who produced Murs Rules the World.
It's when you start to get a gut and you don't go out as much. You and your old homeboys barely even stay in touch. You be doing too much. You trying to build a career, got a 1-bedroom and a fridge full of beer. You smoking cigarettes like it's going out.
That song was recorded in his studio in Midtown on San Vicente and La Brea at this studio I went to often, and it's definitely still the era where I was recording and had a gun on me, and just about me living, I would walk back and forth the studio. I think we talked about like a drunk, walking, pistol packing, backpacking rapper, because to go from Pico and Burnside to San Vicente and La Brea is still kind of risky. Being me and being friends with the people I was friends with, the chorus is, for my Varsity Blues, all of my dudes who hustle hard, never learned the meaning to lose. For the Varsity Blues, to my rips and down moves who hustle hard, never learned the meaning to lose. Varsity Blues for my backpacking crews
who hustle hard and never learned the meaning of blues. It's more than Varsity Blues. To my rips and down moves who hustle hard and never learned the meaning of blues. It's more than Varsity Blues. To all of y'all who pay dues, still hustle hard and never learned the meaning of blues.
That was definitely, I guess, foreshadowing of the paid dues to come. For all y'all paid dues and hustle hard, never learned the meaning to lose, just not giving up. Right around this time, I had made the agreement with LP to do an album for Def Jux. Def Jux wasn't Def Jux yet. I think they had only put out the Def Jux Volume 1, the weird compilation that had Cannibal Ox and some new Co-Flow or LP songs. I think that was it. But so that was like, don't give up, because I just I'm like, okay. Like Japan was just still kind of popping and Def Jux was about to start popping. I was feeling myself and I was happy that I didn't kill myself or give up. So this is around time of my first nervous breakdown. So my first nervous breakdown like this, I was driving back from Tucson. The second time I moved there I'd have a song on here. It's kind of hard because the songs aren't in order chronologically, but County Blues is about me going out with a couple members of Living Legends. It's about being on medication for the first time to deal with my anxiety. And I thought I was having a heart attack. I was having a panic attack. I just used some of the money I got from LP to open up a record store in Tucson, downtown Tucson, where I eventually met Shock G, where I made friends that I still have to this day. I'm still hearing people coming to my record store. Slobby Robbie, who has a Netflix special, was a 15-year-old kid in Tucson who used to come to my record store and hang out all day. Yeah. And driving home, I had a nervous breakdown. And I had to pull over at a truck stop or a rest stop. The phone wasn't working because I wanted to call 911 because I thought I was having a heart attack. Weeks before that, I had been restless, sick. My mom's like, I've been drinking castor oil. I couldn't sleep. I was just didn't want to sleep in my bed. I had a thing for sleeping in whatever beds. For that reason, I slept with the girl that I was seeing at the time who had cheated on me with my best friend, meaning my best friend came to LA. I was in Tucson, my old best friend from high school, and I said, yo, you should you need someone to pick you up from the airport, I'll send my homegirl. Or she wasn't my girlfriend, she was my homegirl, but I should have just made her my girlfriend and committed to her. She was a good girl. She's the, girl that was on Murs Rules the World, who said the line on the number 6 song. He hung out with her and did God knows what. What he copped to was one day he called me and told me, yo, I just want to let you know if you love that girl or something, like you should still love her, but she kissed me. We kissed before I left her at the airport. She dropped me off at the airport and I made out with her. I got her to give him a ride to the airport. That's what it was. And they hung out maybe a couple times and asked her to, then after that, I had asked her to hang out with him or something. Yeah, I kind of set myself up for it. I don't know all the details, but they kissed. They made out. And maybe they did more. But she knew that I was seeing other people. This is the beginning of my bad man stories. And but I wasn't committed to her and I was open with her, so I guess that was okay. So she showed me and it broke my heart. And she used to fly down to Tucson to see me and spend weekends with me, so I didn't want to sleep in that bed anymore. I was still a business owner. I was working on releasing my first nationally distributed record on Def Jux. I was under a lot of stress. Flying made me nervous, and I was flying out. Usually when we were touring with Living Legends, I'd fly out with everybody. But now living in Tucson, I would have to do 2 or 3 flights to connect with them. And this is 2001, like I said, 2002. Southwest wasn't as great as it is now, but it was still decent. But I'd have to have couple connecting flights, and flying by myself was nerve-wracking. During this time was when I canceled my first tour. My first time I ever canceled any shows. In Tucson, I was skating. I rolled my ankle. So that was more stress. And then I got to the airport on crutches, and it was winter in Japan. And the label really wanted me to come out to promote the new record that I was releasing with them, a compilation record. And I got to the gate, and I just started shaking on my crutches. And I was like, I'm not going. And I called them. I was like, I can't come. Or sent an email, and I was like, I can't come. And I still didn't know what was happening to me, but I just couldn't come. And then I went back home, and so when I was sleeping I had a roommate. I was living with one of my best friends, DJ Herm, and I was sleeping in the front room. I wouldn't sleep in my bed because it reminded me of the girl. I was just in a bad place, man, mentally, like sleeping or not sleeping in front of the TV, trying to take castor oil because I felt like I was having numbness and I was constipated and all these weird things. Just every symptom. If there was no WebMD back then for me to check, or I didn't know of it, we were still on dial-up. maybe DSL. I went home for Thanksgiving, and I'm driving, and that's when I felt like I was having a heart attack. I pull over, call 911, phone's dead. I get in, start speeding. I think it's trying to get to Blythe, California, in between Tucson and LA on the 10. And I get to Blythe, or almost to Blythe. I'm coming up over the hill. I see flashing lights. The police are pulling me over because I'm speeding. I'm going 90s, 100, trying to get to the hospital. I think I'm dying. They pull me over. They handcuff me. I tell them, please just call an ambulance. I think I'm having a heart attack. They check my car for drugs, of course, because I have a new Cadillac, a 96 Cadillac. This is 99, 2000, relatively new Cadillac, 2-door, clean as fuck, all original, no rims, Dayton's. I did buy some Vogues and like kept the original rims that came with it. You know, ETC, top of level, automatic trunk. It was a nice car, V8 North Star. So I have to have guns. I have to have drugs in the car. I'm a rapper they never heard of. They find some pills I bought from a truck stop to keep me awake that I had taken. Probably not a good idea on when you're having a panic attack or you're, suffering from anxiety. So my heart's racing. And they're like, it's probably because of these pills, like basically just belittling me. The ambulance comes. They impound my car for speeding or whatever. So I had to pay to get it out. I had to pay to go to the hospital. They give me all the questions. They give me the EKG. They're like, you're fine. I was like, I'm not fine. I can't drive. I had to call my mother like a small child. Like I said, at this point, maybe I'm 22, 23 years old. My mother and my stepfather, who I'm just getting to know, drive out to Blythe in the middle of the night. Imagine a mother. Now I can imagine more getting a call that I'm in the hospital. Something's wrong with my chest. I'm having chest pains. I don't know what's going on. She comes back. My stepfather drives his car. Me and my mom, he takes me to impound to get my car out the impound, pay the money. We drive back to LA. My mother's like literally holding my hand and like singing to me the whole, like lullabies, gospel hymns the whole time. And I'm just like, my eyes are rolling back in my head. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm out of here. I'm checked out. I'm gone. I'm fucked up. And we get home. I kind of get on my feet. I'm supposed to go to New York with the masterminds for Kamani, my homeboy, to do a remix and a video. I don't know what we were supposed to do. I was supposed to fly to New York. And I say, okay, I'll be there. I got a flight in the morning. That night, I try to get up and I go to the movies at the Beverly Center. For some reason, I walk to the Beverly Center to see this movie, Bringing Out the Dead.
Heat, humidity, moonlight, all the elements in place for a long weekend. I was good at my job. There were periods when my hands moved with the speed and skill beyond me.
How long have you been doing this?
5 years.
Wow, you must have seen some things, huh?
It's about ambulances and being a paramedic, and that shit fucked me up. If you have anxieties, then, I was fucked up. So I ended up walking up La Cienega to Sunset, down Sunset to the 7th Veil, which I now know since my son's into rock and roll, I've been playing, and Girls, he's 3 years old. I played him Girls by Motley Crue. So 7th Veil, I believe, is on the strip club they're talking about. At this point, I don't know how, maybe walking a mile and a half. I'm like, maybe I can get some liquor and calm down and get a lap dance. I go in there, buy a lap dance, and the lady's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You need to get out of here. You look crazy. Like, basically, I feel like strippers are part therapists anyway. At this point, I still haven't been to therapy, haven't been to the doctor yet. I go walk out of there, start walking down La Brea, finally get to La Brea and Fountain, and I call a cab. And I get home to my mom's house. I go upstairs. I get in the bed. I don't get out of the bed for 3 days. Use the restroom, go back to the bed. I don't know what's wrong with me. Finally, I go to the doctor and say, there's nothing wrong with me. You're having panic attacks. Then they start prescribing the Xanax and everything, and nothing's working. I got to go back to Tucson and run my business. On the way down, I bring my homeboys. I'm not driving by myself. I had a speeding ticket I had to pay. I stopped to pay the speeding ticket coming back from Buckeye. Heading back towards Tucson, my engine blows up. Start smoking. Turns out costing me $7,500. It's because I believe I was putting synthetic oil in there. You're not supposed to put synthetic, or I wasn't. I was putting the wrong oil in it when I bought the car from this used salesman from a parking lot in South Central. It's a parking lot sale. I bought this Cadillac from $28,000. I think 13% interest on the loan. Horrible. I got swindled. No one told me what kind of oil to put on it. And at this point, only old black men, white men and Jewish grandmothers drive this 96 Cadillac Eldorado. Like, it's not a hot car. Everyone, rich, young, black, and rap people are driving Lexuses. They're not driving grandma Cadillacs. So no one was around to tell me what kind of oil to put. My grandfather loved my car, to put it like that. My 70-year-old grandfather loved my car. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. My friends thought it was funny and nice. Engine blew up. So now it's just more stress. And I still don't know what's wrong with me. These are all things I talk about in the first song.
Give a damn. Mad at the world, that's why I never had a girl. Incapable of loving anyone who could betray me. She made out with my best friend, it sorta drove me crazy. Along with the store that I opened down in AZ. And at the same time, I blew the engine on my Cadillac. Cost me 7 G's, so that set me back. Which equals Varsity Blues and panic attacks. It's more than Varsity Blues. To all of my dudes who hustle hard and never learned the meaning of blues. It's for them.
Running a record store, trying to figure out how to have a healthy love life, trying to figure out how to be my own manager. A lot of artists at this point would have a manager. I have records out on multiple continents. I have my own independent catalog to keep pressing and repressing and servicing the stores. I got my own inventory at my store, which now includes 1 employee for paying my rent, keeping my inventory. So I have records, I have CDs, I have tapes, I have graffiti supplies, I have b-boying supplies. So every facet of hip hop is represented in the store, but I got to keep track of all this stuff. Man, it was a lot for a 20-something-year-old in your early 20s. My first car payment, insurance payment, employee, is just a lot, all while being an alcoholic and addicted to cigarettes and sex, if you want to count that. This led to Varsity Blues. So the next is Beliefs Blues.
Look, I ain't trying to battle rap, can't fuck with none of that. I'm trying to have fun with rap. I'm done with that phase of my life. Now I'm trying to raise this mic and have the crowd shout back. And I really doubt that should violate your zone.
I don't know when I reconnected with Belief, but I believe it was around the time he gave me the beat for God's Work, because I was doing that. But Belief is my friend from high school who has gone on to be an amazing producer right now. I think he's producing a band called The Head and the Heart. He's produced for Sia, Kelly Clarkson, but he started doing stuff for me, Vort Omega, C. Ray's Walls. We went to high school together. My first Jewish friend, one of our first, I would say, like, you know, definitely just music friends that we really bonded on music and started creating together. We had a DJ crew called Stylist Groove. We would make mixtapes. Our rival crew was Undisputed Champs, which was Double K and DJ Jedi's crew and Thes One. But we were all friends. We were like a healthy, fun rivalry. And we'd make mixtapes. We'd sell them at 555 Soul, Union, Beat Nonstop. And I'd sell them hand to hand. I might sell 20. 10, 15 of these. My friends would buy them, and a couple of stores would put them in. I don't know if anyone ever bought. If you have any of those, you're fucking lucky. I don't even have any. But he was the first person I knew with a 4-track recorder. We would try to sample, loop things, drums, and then, you know, rap over me. Eli Scarable would spend the weekend at his house. So I reconnected with him. He went to NYU. I think he was interning at Electric Ladyland. I think this is in the D'Angelo Voodoo days. And he gave me this beat for God's Work and this beat for Varsity Blues, which I think is probably one of the best beats on here. One of my favorite. I won't say best. One of my favorite. And I'm rapping the best. The first verse is about rappers who I was having problems with. One particular LA rapper cornered me at a show at the Knitting Factory, which was popping right across the street from the Roosevelt Hotel. Used to be a shoe store, a movie theater, and the bottom floor was the Knitting Factory. Venue where Immortal Technique, MC Chris, Cannibal Ox, all kind of people performed there over the years. Jedi Mind Tricks, a legendary venue. And I showed up, I think it was for a Cannibal Ox show. And all the LA rappers come out. They don't support each other. It's kind of like that in every hometown. But when an out-of-town group that's popping comes, they all want to come to be seen, being friends with these people. I was on the same label with Wardle and Vast at the time. You know, not a lot of people knew it because the record had. So this says Varsity Blues came out December 20th, 2002. So this is right before Into the Beginning is about to drop. I don't know Homeboy's going to be there. We've always had problems. I don't know if we talked about this. This was a rapper that I started battling one day. Somebody I grew up listening to from the LA scene. And it just exploded into a battle at Soundcheck at Maritime Hall. I think it may have been for Broke Ass Summer Jam. And I was like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's battle. You think you're dope? When you start off the head, he started freestyling, I started freestyling. Whatever I was saying was struck a nerve. And I didn't know because I wasn't friends with the dude. They were all, that's the thing, my crew, they were all friends with the people that I didn't like. There was no, you don't fuck with them, so I don't fuck with them type of vibes. And I never liked that. If you don't fuck with somebody and we're family, we're crew, I try not to fuck with them, or I used to back then. So he knew what I was saying was very insensitive and volatile. So he picked me up and ran me, like literally ran me out of there. And I'm like over his shoulder, like, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. Probably a couple cousins in there. And I'm like, meet me at the Phoenix Hotel tonight. That's where we all stayed. And we can finish this. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll battle you, put up any money, I think it was like $150 on, we're trying to put up some money. I was like, yo, I'll see you there. And then I think they told me when I got downstairs, and I was like, oh shit, not that I felt, you know, I still didn't really have a lot of love for the dude. So I was like, but you don't disrespect the dead. That's nah, you know. So I see him at this show, and for me, if you know me, like I love getting violent to the point where it's scary for me. I try not to. I'll avoid physical altercation at all costs if I can. Not because I'm fearful of what I might do. Not because I'm fearful of what will happen to me. I enjoy getting hit in the face. Slug has seen it. A couple people have seen it. I like fighting, but I don't like fighting, if that makes sense. So I'm like, I let the dude back me in a corner. I'm like, look, bro. And then he started to threaten people I knew And I was like, for me, this person's like, I know this person from this blood gang. I know this person from this Crip gang. And I was like, I don't know any Bloods. I don't know any random Crips. All I know is the Crips that live in my neighborhood. And if you take it there, let's not take it there. I was like, my name is Nicholas Carter. Your government name is this, this, this. You live at this address. I will pull up to your house and we can run the fair one. This is a place of business. I'm not trying to fight you. My homies are on stage right now. I want to go rap with them. They're from New York. I haven't seen them in a couple months. Fuck out of here with all the bullshit. If you want to fight me, I'll pull up, call me anytime. I'm not going to run from you, but I'm not going to fight you here, man. But I'm not about to let you threaten people, and I'm not about to let you continue talking to me like that. So what do you want to do? And then it kind of dissipated after that. Because I was like, I don't want to talk about homies. I'm not a gangbanger, bro. But if you start talking about gangbangers, then I'm going to call the only gangbangers I know. And it's not a game. And I'm sure your people aren't a game. So let's just, me, you, two men, we have a problem. This venue where we all like to do shows and perform isn't the place. Let's take it somewhere where we can be in. I said, I'll meet you in your front yard by myself. No burners, no nothing, and we can run it up. Me, you in front of all your homies. And I think that kind of was a sobering moment for everyone. And we kind of just left it there. So that was my thing. Is like, I appreciate this ability to make money. I have homies who don't have these opportunities. I'm not trying to fuck it off. Oh, if I wanted to fight motherfuckers and get into beefs, I would have stayed with them. It'd be disrespectful to what my homies do, which is full-time cripping and shit. For me to bring that energy, I have a place to get that energy off, and I chose to walk away from that. So why would I bring that energy to rap? And that's kind of what the first verse is saying. After that incident, I was like, bro, when you see me, just don't say shit. I don't got shit to say to you. We're both rappers, man. Let's just make money, entertain, be artists, and but if you want to get street or gully or whatever, let's do it. But let's not do it in our place of work. It'd be better if we just agree to disagree. The next verse, there's another verse in here about me having kind of a little bit of money for the first time, especially living in Tucson, getting followed around stores by white people thinking I'm trying to steal. I have no business in the television section or wherever the fuck I was, in the Sean John's, in the Macy's men's store at the fucking Beverly Center, getting followed around just for being black. And it was frustrating because I did have money to actually do shopping when I didn't used to. And I didn't used to, I used to shop on Melrose where people looked like me would shop. But now, with the Sean John and different things, I'm going places I want to buy nicer things or rap is in nicer places. Rap is growing up. So not used to seeing, there's no more Mr. J's or whatever the fucking hip hop spots were in your local mall. Now you got to go to Macy's men's store if you want to get the Sean John, the Rockaware, the FUBU, the whatever. And I was still, I'm a black kid. Even though I'm in the underground scene, I still am wearing hood shit. So I want to be ghetto fabulous, Anyway, that was that story. And then Winona Ryder gets name dropped. And I think the fourth Pentium process, the new millennium, we're on our fourth Pentium. That shit made me laugh like a motherfucker. Referencing technology is the quickest way to date yourself. Sports teams and technology just don't. Movies, it's art. So kind of, but sports teams and technology, just try not to drop a Sidekick, Razor phone, all those things, even social media platforms, cringy. But if with the new millennium, we're on our fourth Pentium. We're supposed to be so evolved. I was referencing the fourth Pentium as the height of evolution. So we got the Lexus verses. The second verse is about dudes who I would walk from Cloverdale and Pico to Burnside and Pico to my apartment with the burner a lot of the times because we were definitely having a war in our neighborhood between two bordering Crip gangs. My homies are on one side and people on the other side. I didn't know anyone. But they knew me. They definitely knew that I hung out with those people. They knew my car, but I wouldn't drive my Cadillac from Burnside to Cloverdale. Was ridiculous. And plus you could get pulled over in that short amount of time in that 4 blocks. So it wasn't worth it. So people would stop and hit me up. And I never understood why people in cars would try to fight with people at the bus stop or people that were walking. you have a place to go and you have a way nicer car. And maybe this was written before I got my car, but I think this sentiment carries over from then. I just never understood why you are focused on someone. I get you focused. Maybe you think I'm going to shoot you, but if I don't have a problem with you, why would you have a problem with someone walking? Especially in Los Angeles, where a car is a status symbol. If we're in New York, whatever, maybe, I don't know the politics, but for me, it was just always like, all right, but you want to bully someone because, a lot of people that buy fancy things are insecure. So because I'm not looking at your car in admiration and envying you, I must be comfortable with myself, which makes you realize how uncomfortable you are with yourself, which makes you want to roll down the window and ask me where I'm from and what I'm doing and where you shut up. And then first I'm just going through, okay, you're going to pull out a gun, whatever it takes to get you off your male ego and make you feel better. I'm going to do that. And great. Good on you. Get on your bike or whatever the fuck the British people say. And that was Varsity Blues. The beat is hard. God's work. He also did Okie Dog. He's done many songs for me over the years, and hopefully he will be working with me on future projects. Next song is County Blues, which is the reason I moved back to Tucson the second time. I was living in mid-city. I don't quite recall where, but I remember being on Cloverdale and them calling me on my mobile, I think my StarTech cellular, Living Legends. They're up the street and they wanted me to go to these rappers' house that are LA rappers. And I was like, I don't want to go over there. I don't fuck with them. If you're not from mid-city or you're not in Living Legends, I'm not interested in collaborating with you or my friend. Like I made friends with LP and Cannibal Ox because we weren't in the same scene. We weren't rivals. It was easy to make friends. But at the time, I still hadn't rapped with LP or Aesop or Cannibal. I was really like, I fuck with who I fuck with. I'm not going to cross any enemy lines or anybody that I think is not a good human or, just so many reasons I didn't want to cross streams with other crews. And some of it's ego too, for sure, insecurities. But I always knew that they were better rappers than me. I thought that they were better rappers than me. So they're like, please just come over. They're asking if you would come with us. And I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm on Cloverdale. I am kicking it, bro. I am chilling. Fuck it, I remember the outfit I was wearing. I was wearing the blue Dadas with no socks, some Fat Farm short denim jorts, no draws, a velour Fat Farm zip-up jacket with no shirt. That's how, hood I was. I walked over from my house to the block. I was getting drunk, smoking cigarettes. I was not trying to fucking go out and rap. Then I come on, let's pick you up. I'm like, fuck it. Cool. We went over there. No, you know what? That was the first time. Sorry, this wasn't that night. They took me to these rappers' house. I didn't do a song with them. The same rapper that I tried to battle before. It's all within 18 months. I tried to battle before. So this is before the battle. Jeez. These songs are out of order. Before the battle. And this is what led to the battle. The animosity had peaked after this night. I went over there. We played GoldenEye. I beat everybody in GoldenEye. I was like, let's just kick it. And then if we're friends, we could do a song later. They started trying to force me to do a song. I was like, I'm not rapping with y'all. But I'll play Bond and 007, GoldenEye. I fucked them all up in that. Then they start talking about who could beat who in a battle. I was like, I'll beat anybody in your crew. I don't give a fuck. What I'm supposed to say, yeah. Supernatural, maybe. And they're like, you think you could beat this person? I was like, yeah, I could beat this person. Yeah, you think I could? I was like, everybody but Supernat. And I think Supernat's better than all of y'all. And it just got really intense. But I didn't give a fuck. It's rap. We're not talking street shit. This is why I rap, so that we could talk shit without the fear of it getting physical or violent, It's, same way, you play sports. This is what we do, Especially if you're from LA, you always have the option to compete on a violent life or death level for something if you want, for the streets. So if you're choosing to do something else, why bring that mentality? To me, that means you're a coward if you want to bring that into this realm. If you got to reach over into that realm and bring it here, it means, I feel the same way about LAFC, LA Galaxy. If we got to stab each other and get close to death over soccer teams, you should just be a gangbanger. Like, you got that option. There's a million gangs you can join. So I didn't think anything of it, but apparently it felt some way, which led to the spillover at the battle. That should have been a sign. That night should have been a sign. They kind of set me up. Like, they brought me over there, and I told dudes in Liverpool, I told Lucky and Grouch, like, look, if they start trying to pressure me to do a song, have my back and just let them know that I'm coming over to get familiar. I'm not coming over to commit to any artistic endeavors. And they didn't back me up. They tried to shame me into being on the song. And if you know me, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So they tried to shame me, so which made it even more awkward. Like, your crew wants you to do it. We want you to do it. Why don't you want to do it? You think you better than us? Blah, blah. I'm like, that's not, I'm trying to just build a real actual friendship before we start being on songs and together. And part of me was like, because when I was trying to be cool with y'all and do songs with y'all, when I was just living in LA, y'all didn't want to do songs with me. And I wasn't as good of a rapper then. I wasn't even that good at that point, but that's aside from the point. Or maybe that is the point. But anyway, then they call me another day and I have on the crazy no drawers, no shirt outfit, no socks. To this day, I don't leave the house with no drawers, no socks on, no shirt on, because I think I'm going to go to jail. And that's what ended up happening. We go to this club where these LA rappers usually hang out. I'm with all my Crip friends and my ghetto friends and hood friends, Cloverdale friends. They call me, you want to go to this thing? I'm like, fuck it. I'm wasted. I'm drunk already. I'm not doing shit here. We're playing video games. Let's go to Inglewood, to this club. We go to Inglewood to this club. I swear it's this night that there's a young producer group in town called the Neptunes. They produced, I'm a record nerd, they produced a song called The Funeral for a group called The Clips, who recently had been dropped from East West, or had been dropped from East West, and I never heard of it again, but I remember having the record and loving the instrumental. So a guy that I knew from my internship days was taking them around. He introduced me to them, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm literally looking at Pharrell and Chad, and I'm like, yo, that funeral shit? And they're like, oh shit, you know that? Because they weren't doing anything huge yet. And I was like, bro, man, that's just dope. And I don't know what else I said. I was drunk, but I do remember meeting them. I do remember stumbling out of the club. I remember having to go back from Inglewood to West LA, Midtown, and I had to pee. And there was an abandoned business, the kind of business where the fucking grass growing through the cracks in front of the building. There's barred up. The grass growing through the cracks in the bars is waist high. No one's opening this building. This building hasn't been open in years. It's an eyesore on the community. I have to pee. The club is closed. It's after 2:00. We're in the hood. There's nowhere else to pee. I can't pee on myself. I've been drinking 151 since probably 3 in the afternoon. I go pee. Cops roll up. I said, "But turn around." "Yes, officer. How may I help you?" "What are you doing over there?" "Nothing." "What are you doing?" And I was always taught by the one friend I met that was, not friend, but guy I knew, never lie to the police. So I'm like, fuck it, bro. Yeah, I was taking a piss. I was like, and he also, like, this friend would inform me of my rights. So I was like, yo, like, I know it's a citation. Go ahead, write me a citation. I'm sorry. "Where you from?" "I'm from Mid-City." "Well, this ain't Mid-City. This is Inglewood. And I'm going to take you to jail for." I was like, huh? You gonna do what? And then all the homies that I came with were just staring at me. Looking at me, bro. Looking at me. Now, just something that happened a couple days before. I remember it vividly because it just happened. I was wondering, there was a 14-year-old that we knew in our hood, little Crip dude, outside smoking a beanie that one of us gave him on the side, on a corner. And the police rolled up on him. 2 cars, trying to rough him up. So we all come out of the house. We're a bunch of young men in the house, young black men. We see another younger black man getting fucked with. We like, yo, what's going on here? And my big homie was like, he could read, this is the homie that told me, he could read badges and all the shit. So he was like, or like stripes. So he's like, where's your commanding officer? "I know that I can ask for your commanding officer because this is a minor. We're going to inform his parents. His mom lives right here. We're going to take him in the house. She can handle this. This is not a matter for the police. We got this. Thank you, officer." And they try to push up on us, and then we all push back. Like, no. Get your hands off of him. And we got him, and we like, yo, little whatever, rock, go in the house. And then now it's just us and them and 2 cops. And it's like 5, 6, 7 of us. And he's like, "Do you want to bring your commanding officer here to write a report and explain to us why you want to take this juvenile into custody? Or do you want to get in your cars and go home?" and they got in their cars and whenever they got the fuck out of our face. So I'm expecting the same protection from these black men that I traveled to the club with. So I go to Inglewood holding cell. If you know anything about Inglewood, it's a predominantly blood neighborhood. At this point, I still didn't know there were any Crips in Inglewood. I've been enlightened since. I'm in the back of the car. I was probably talking shit to the cops because I remember getting in the car. He's like, "Why aren't you talking shit now?" I'm like, "Well, now I'm in handcuffs." It's not really the most intelligent thing. If I was like, if you would like to fight, as wrong as I am, I fight you, but I'm not about to keep talking when I'm already in the handcuffs. It was so I can want to provoke you to beat me while I'm hands behind my back. If I'm gonna provoke a fight, I'm gonna do it when I was standing on both my feet. That's what happened to all the tough talk. When I was ready to be tough, I can't be too tough in handcuffs. And they took my belt, they took my shoelaces. So now I have shoes, no laces, no socks. I have no drawers, no belt. This is still the 1900s, as my son says. My pants are falling off my ass and a baggy velour top. If I let go of my pants, they will fall down in jail, in county jail, holding tank. I'm in the holding tank. They take me in, fingerprint me. They ask me, "Am I in a gang?" I was like, "No, but I wouldn't put me in any cells with any bloods." They said, Crip on my jacket or my folder, whatever. They wrote, "Crip affiliate, scared of blood, fears blood retaliation," something like that. I was like, oh my God. And also know if you tell them you're from a gang, then you're permanently on a gang file. That wasn't my case, and I wasn't from a gang, but I definitely said cuz a lot and had on all, in time of these Dadas, these shoes, I wish we could show them. I guess I'm not even going to put this video out because I've been looking at this mic the whole time. Blue Dadas with white graffiti letters that said Dada. It's a striation of blue, from light blue to navy blue. And they had a red version that went from light red to dark red. And the Crips wore their shoes, Bloods wore these shoes. I had the Crip version of these shoes that every active black gangbanger that wanted to look fly had. So I'm in Inglewood with, the newer version of Chucks. You know what I mean? Basically, like this lets people know what side of the coin you're on. So I have these on in a blue velour jacket. I think the stripe was burgundy, but still the shoes say it all. And I'm laying there thinking, fuck, I don't want to go to county in this. I don't want to go to county at all. If I make it out of Inglewood, without having to fight and have my pants fall down. Like I might be ready to fight, but nigga, like my dick's gonna come out as soon as that happens, and my pants around my ankles. I'm at a disadvantage as soon as I get into any altercation. Fuck me. They fingerprint me after that, and then they take me to take my pictures, and I smile. And they're like, "Why are you smiling? Can you not smile?" Like, you can't tell me not to smile in my mugshot. Fuck you. I'm like, fuck this, man. This is a joke, man. I'm in here for fucking pissing, bro. And they're like, all right, you get a phone call. And I call my mom. They're like, why would you call your mother? I'm like, because obviously my homies don't give a shit about me, or else I wouldn't be in this motherfucker. It's the only person in the world that gives a fuck about me. Maybe they think I have a baby's mom and I go to jail all the time. Like, nah, I call my mama, nigga. Like, she's about to come make sure I get out this motherfucker in the morning. And this is all said in the song.
Hey mom, they got me down at the substation, and this punk ass CO right here is testing my patience. Nah mama, don't cry, cause it's not that serious. I'm drunk and I'm tired and a little bit delirious, but other than that, I'ma be okay. It's just a misdemeanor and an overnight stay. Anyway, I had to call, cause you're the only person I can count on not to fail to make sure I don't get...
And I go to the cell, I lay down, and then, as if it couldn't get any worse, a dude from my old crew log cabin, who I hated at the time, I couldn't stand. It was a lot for me to not want to assault this individual every time I saw him. We all got in that huge fight at the promenade. He didn't fight. He's just I didn't like his, listen, to be more involved, I didn't care for his energy. Of all people, all nights, I guess he was at the club too, because hip-hop scene is still small. He got arrested for drunk driving. So he's in there throwing up in the fucking cell next to mine, because we're still downstairs at booking, kind of. And I'm like, who's throwing up? And I don't know, it was probably 4 or 5 in the morning, so they brought in powdered eggs, and it almost made me Earl, too, because I was fucking, like, you know, in hangover area, because they didn't give us any water. Starting to get the shakes, headaches, like 151 since 3 o'clock that day. I was pretty fucked up. He's throwing up in the cell, and they're like, oh, Murs, is that you, bro? I'm like, fuck you. But I did see him get jumped. It was so bad that a friend of mine told me one day, I was at a store, he was like, yo, I know you don't like such and such. He's about to get fucked up tonight because he did X, Y, and Z. If you want to come to this show tonight, you'll get to see him get fucked up. So I went. I didn't like to do so much. I went to watch him get fucked up, and I watched him take a couple shots to the dome. So now we're in jail together. I've seen him get his just desserts. I didn't have to dish it out. This should be justice. So at this point, I'm like, I gotta forget this dude. Like, I was like, of all the people in the world to be locked, I couldn't be locked up with any of the guys that I came with. And my thing is like, for my neighborhood, you go out, you shoot together, you fight together, you die together, you go to jail. We do it all together. That is one of the things about gang culture. It's still very tribal, and I respect that. If something happens, it happens to all of us. Or we're put on all of the odds of it happening to all of us are there. There was one officer that took me to jail tonight. There was 5 people in the car. There were 4 other individuals that could have stepped up and done something to make that one officer call for backup, and we all go to jail, or he probably would just back off. You show force, it's not worth the paperwork for them. They're scared of us anyway. They are going to go home because they have a home that's probably nicer than all of our homes. They're trying to get to their home. That white man does not want to do the paperwork or get the chance of getting fucked up out on the streets of Inglewood tonight. He's trying to make a point. You motherfuckers let it happen. Now, the only person I'm in jail with is this motherfucker over here. I pass out. I wake up. They take me upstairs to the holding tank. I'm like, man, I always thought that they kept the murderers separate from the drunk people. I'm in there with some drunk immigrant dudes who don't speak a lot of English. Big, you know, like, I guess it's a day room kind of thing. One toilet that's metal in the middle of the room. Now, I haven't been to jail, but I know about courtesy flushes. Thank God, like I've been educated on certain things. The phone, all that shit. I don't need to use the phone. I got my phone call. I know my mom's gonna show up for my court date. I don't need bail. I don't have any reason to fuck with the phone. Everything's cool. Dude I know, the rapper dude I don't like is there. I'm not really talking to him yet. I haven't fully made peace with the idea. The immigrant Latino dudes, like I'm not, no problems with them. A couple other random dudes in there, no problems. Then the orange jumpsuit niggas come here from county. These are people who may have violent felonies, murder charges, whatever, other places, but they have misdemeanors and warrants from Inglewood court. So they get brought from wherever to go to their court date that day. There's an individual, grown man, who has an orange jumpsuit on, who sees me standing up against the wall, comes over to me, looks me up and down, turns around, unzips his jumpsuit, takes it off to his waist so that I can see the name of his hood tattooed. He puts his elbows at shoulder height, tucks them into his chest, shows me his whole back tattoo with his back turned to me. So if I did have a rival, if I was from a rival gang, he was ready to take off on me. Let me take off on him and then fight. He was ready to let me have the first hit. Zipped up his jumpsuit, turned around, said, where you from? I said, I don't bang. All right. Looking at my shoes, he knew he had made his point. I'm assuming he was a blood. I did not read his tattoos. I'm just not looking at another man's body that closely, nor did I'm not in that game, so I don't give a fuck. I say because it's just like, bro, dude, if you grow up with a country dude that says, hey, little buddy, you're going to grow up saying buddy. You know, like the big cool dude in your town calls you partner. John Wayne said partner. Howdy, partner. A lot of people said partner. I say because the cool dudes in my neighborhood, the big dudes, the men in my neighborhood, without a father figure, these are the people that talk, and this is how they talk. This is how I talk. People from New York say son, God, yo, money, word, all that. Yeah, yo, son, that's the equivalent of son to me. It doesn't come with, I hate anyone who wears red and I want to kill them. It just means a term of endearment from just like the N-word. So I'm like, all right. And I know when to say it and when not to say it, just like I don't use the N-word for everybody. I don't use cuss to talk to, it's just anybody. When I feel comfortable and it's a setting that allows for it, I let my guard down. at my core, that is how I talk and who I am. So I, didn't have any reason to have an altercation with this dude. Dude goes and sit down. There's another dude in there. They come in, they go out. And another dude comes in and he has on the red Dadas. He has a black velour jacket on. He's the opposite of me. His black or burgundy pants on. Immediately sees my Dadas. I see his. He comes up to me, where you from? I don't bang. All right then, blood. He goes to sit down. They bring in a next breakfast, lunch. I think it's lunch at this point. It's ham sandwich, fruit punch, and I always hear, don't drink the juice in the county. It makes you sterile. I don't drink the juice. I'm dehydrated. Oh, and it's cold as shit. If you've ever been in jail, it's this concrete room with wooden benches on the wall, or maybe they're steel or concrete, I don't know. Benches along the wall, concrete floor, cold as fuck, and a metal toilet with no toilet seat. Now I have diarrhea. I have the morning hangover shits. I put my tray down. I go shit. I'm trembling, shaking, ill-ass diarrhea. Every man in the room has to see me. I can't have any drawers to cover up my dick, so my jeans are down, my dick and my ass is out. I'm holding up my velour jacket so it doesn't get shit on it, and I have like violent, explosive hangover, 151 diarrhea. I do courtesy flushes. So motherfuckers, I'm acting like I have some type of penitentiary training. Get up, wipe my ass, wash my hands, go over, I'm gonna eat my apple. At this point, I'm shaking so bad, I drop my apple. When my apple falls, I haven't had anything in my body since the night before. So going on 12 hours, probably at this point. I drop my apple, and what does my dumb ass say? By habit, tired, I don't have my guard up. In a jail cell in Inglewood, I say, oh, cuz, when I drop my apple. The Latino dudes who only speak Spanish, it seems, stop talking. The whole cell goes quiet. Even they know that I fucked up. Because the other blood is there who asked me if I banged earlier and said, nah, and it was cool. And then, they said, then what you in here for? Pissing, oh, you gonna be home, blood. Like, cool. He was cool. As soon as he signed out, like, you're not cribbing in here. You're not banging. Cool. You good. I say, oh, cuz, when I drop the apple, by the grace of God, he was on the phone yelling at his baby's mom or some bitch, as he would say. Bitch, blah, 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 and didn't even hear it. Oh, Jesus. That could have been the end of my fucking day. Because that's an altercation. At that point, I have to fight him. COs come in. Now I have assault. I'm going to county after that. No longer am I just in here for, as far as my understanding of it goes. Now, they can't keep me over the weekend. And it was a holiday weekend. I forgot to say it was like Labor Day weekend or something. So I was Friday night, Labor Day weekend. So I was going to have to stay. If the judge didn't see me on Friday, I was going to have to go to county for the weekend and come back on Tuesday to Inglewood Court or something crazy like that, I think. This is my fear. It could be wrong. He didn't hear it, thankfully. They shackle us up all together. We go into the court, sitting in a little box, ask me to stand up. The judge reads the charges. She says, blah, 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 penal code, blah, 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 go, blah, 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 giving all the sentences. You're going to go here, you're going to go here, you're going to do this, gavel, gavel, gavel. It gets to me, Nicholas Neil Carter. Blah, 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 penal code. And she doesn't know it. She's rattling off all the penal codes, knows them by heart. Black judge. I'm looking at my mom, tears in my eyes, tears in her eyes. It's a ridiculous scene, something I never want to do. You can listen to the song. I talk about all that shit. I'm relatively a good kid. I smoke, sell a little weed, still a couple things right on some walls, but I'm not nowhere near the shit that my brothers are into and my neighbors are into and my friends are into. So I'm a good kid. It's a bad moment. She gets to this penal code. She doesn't know what it is. And she's like, and she goes, like chuckling, public urination? Then she says the craziest thing I ever heard, because she says, sentenced to 24 hours or 1 day. And I'm like, fuck, that 1 day goes into Saturday, which goes into Sunday, which goes into Monday, which means I'm going on the bus to county that everybody's talking about. Fuck me. And it seemed like an eternity before she said, she probably took half a second. It said 24 hours or 1 day. I sentenced him in 1 day, time served. But there was a space. She took a breath. I don't know what she did, but Your Honor took a breath and it scared the shit out of me. I saw my life flash before my eyes. Then she said time served. So I said, oh, I'm going home. Went back to the cell. Now they separate me for the people that are going back to wherever. And I go downstairs with a bunch of other dudes, mostly drunks, crackheads. They're like, what you doing here, young man? Oh, youngster, what you here, young blood? Oh, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, you gonna go home. What you in here for? Blah, 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 blah. I find out these motherfuckers know everything about the penal system. Then they start talking about their hustle of, hey, man, yeah, like, yeah, they picked me up. I was making about, $150, $500 a day sometimes painting. They have the hustle. They act like they work for the city or whatever, and they paint your address on your curb. Talking about that hustle, like they exchanging hustles and ways to get over and welfare schemes and blah, blah. And I'm just like, let me go home. Standing next to one of the older young dudes, black man. They line us up in the garage beneath the Inglewood or in the Inglewood, whatever, courts. I see the door I'm about to walk out of, the big-ass door. They're opening. They're about to let me go. But then there's this little Latino sheriff dude. Oh, man. I don't know how he identified. Very, I don't know. Sounded like a bitch. So we sitting there talking, me and the old timer, like we just talking. We going home. We about to get out. Like, you guys, I'm gonna get some cigarettes. I'll give you a cigarette. Something like shit, whatever. When I get out, where you staying? Which way you heading? What you gonna hop on the bus? You gonna hop? Blah 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 blah. Can I get a ride? Something, whatever. And he goes, shut up. Everybody in line, shut the fuck up. And I couldn't help. Once again, I'm on edge. I don't have my guard up. I haven't slept. I fucking hung over. I said, nigga, what? He said, what the fuck did you say to me? And I said, nigga. And I jumped at him. And the old timer had to hold me back. And he grabbed me, said, young blood, grab my upper arm, my bicep. Like, oh, come on. He said, you are going home. He said, you want to get on? And then the guy took over. I'll send you to county right now. I'll put you on that motherfucking bus right now. You say one more fucking word, and he's in my face spitting like, motherfucker out. And but he's shorter than little porky pig looking fuck.
That's all, folks.
I remembered his name for so long because I wanted to fuck him up. And he just, the old timer just held on to me and calmed me down, centered me. And his superior officer made him start loading people on the bus for county. And he may reaffirm the fact that this is a holiday weekend and how long. Oh, yeah. And that's what the old timer was telling me. He was like, they standing up, they overbooked. It's going to be a 24 hours before you even get booked. You're going to be sitting there waiting, intake and blah. He's explaining all this shit to me. And I'm like, I don't want to go there. And so he's holding me. He's reminding me of that. And I walk out. I had a lowrider bike I had just bought, a new Schwinn and some other shit. I was like, I don't want anything to do with anything gang-related, criminal-related. I was in that cell looking at these men talking about painting addresses on the curb for money. And I had a tour coming up that if I didn't get to my flight on Tuesday morning, I was going to miss. This is before I missed my first tour to Japan. This is, like I said, it's all out of disjointed, but I was going to miss my flight to Japan. I was like, I have a flight to Japan. Most of these motherfuckers can't even show you Japan on a map, probably. Why am I fucking around like this? Why am I even in this situation? I'm fucking up. And let's take something Walker Martin used to say to us all the time. You fucking up. You fucking up. And I could hear him tell me, you fucking up. I was like, man, I'm fucking up. I'm really finally, Walker's right. I'm fucking up. I don't need to go out to clubs unless I'm performing. I'm just on some different shit. I'm on some completely, I'm going to be on some complete shit or some complete business shit. I can't fuck with this shit in between. I know how to do business and I know how to be in the streets. I'm not to dominate in the streets, but I understand the streets. I don't understand this rap shit. I don't understand it. Because all high school popularity shit, I never was into all that shit. The popular kids hang out with these kids and we do songs with these people. If you do money or you do music I like and you're a good person, I fuck with you. Let's make some money. Let's do some music. Let's create some art and market it and do it. If not, if I'm going to hang out, drink, smoke, fuck around, I'm going to do it with motherfuckers that do it by the same code and laws I got. Or, we getting money off the books, I'm going to do it with y'all. The middle shit, this was the point. The irony of this is this song was produced by Ant of Atmosphere, and we did it at the end of the God Loves Ugly tour. And it supposedly didn't really like many people. I say that I don't like many people, but I think that I have ability to get along with a lot of people. But me and Ant somehow connected. And he brought me to his house, and Ant, you know, no disrespect to him, but Ant always struck me as an older black man. And I think he's like half black or quarter black. I don't know. You know, the dudes in Atmosphere are not white guys. Sorry to burst your bubble. But he had at the time he was dating a black woman. And, you know, they played dominoes, drank beer, smoked cigarettes. Once again, these are things I feel comfortable with. Staying in the house, watching sports, playing video games, playing dominoes, drinking, smoking, talking shit. This is shit that I'm comfortable around. I don't need to go out and be seen and look cool and none of that shit. If I'm working, I'm working. If I'm not, I'm chilling. And this is how I chill. That's how Ant chills. So he got me at the house. Ali just reminded me that me and Ali had a song that we did over there. We were battling each other. And I'll never know what happened to that 4-track tape. But Ant had this traditional hip-hop basement with all these records of 4-track beats. And that's where he gave me this beat. I wrote it there at his house. And then he came up with, Mama put the house up so I could bounce up out this motherfucker. And he told me to say it like that. And it's one of the best hooks I had ever had on the album at that point. One of the best hooks I had ever done.
Mom, they locked me in the jail cell for pissing in public. Mama put your house up so I can bounce up out this motherfucker. That's why I love you. Mama put your house up so I can bounce up out this motherfucker.
Because he's a real producer. It's one of my first times I don't say real producer, one of my first times working with someone who really produced me. I had worked with producers, but they hadn't produced me. He produced me. Say it like this, don't say that. And it's still a horrible verse, but it's a cute story. I needed to get that story off. If fuck with Varsity Blues, because I had this idea for this album, and I've been putting it together over the years, and County Blues worked. Ant was a great producer. He also gave me a beat for End of the Beginning. So Belief did, Ant did. This was the way. So we recorded, you know, me and Ant and his girlfriend at the time playing dominoes, smoking cigarettes, drinking Budweiser or whatever we were drinking. Good people, good times. Around this time, I had been on the God Loves Ugly tour with Brother Ali, BK1, Jay Bird, and Atmosphere, which was Mr. Dibbs and Slug at the time. I don't know when we're going to tell those stories. It's not really relevant to this at this point, but at some point we're going to have to unpack that tour. Next song is Writer's Blues featuring PSC.
Underboss, take a trip to where you can't see. In control of scenes with the puppet strings invisible. I seen dreams, shattering the shards. Laid a trick deck of cards where the hearts were all edibles. I press hard, fall into the trap. This was recorded in Australia, I believe. We had a hotel in Australia. I think this is the time we had 3 shows. We used to do Melbourne, Adelaide, and Sydney. Fly halfway across the world. Earlier, we had come with Grouch, around Mercer's World era, we had come with Grouch, Sunspot, Mystic Journey. Yeah, Mystic Journey meant Grouch and me. This time, it was just me and Lucky. We had met some girls. I had met a girl that I had fallen in love with from Adelaide, and we had kept in touch. I gave her my Parappa the Rapper watch. I don't know if I regret it, but I think I do, because I never got it back.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick.
And I would talk to this girl all the time on the phone in America. He met a girl. He would talk to her. We decided to book some shows, just me and him, and go down to Australia. Not for a lot of money, but to cover our hotels so we could see our girls. We got adjoining suites at a hotel in Melbourne in Sydney. Sorry, in Sydney, because we were going to Bondi a lot. Sorry. I think it was Melbourne or Sydney. I don't remember, but I'm going to say it's Sydney. And you could close the door in the hallway, and then it was our 2 rooms in that corner. So we could close the door to the hallway and open up both our rooms door. And like we had like a little 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a 2 living room, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. The living room was in Lucky's room. Apartment, basically. I think we had a kitchen in downtown Sydney. It was the shit. Or Melbourne, wherever we were. I'm going to keep saying Sydney, though. And I had an Osiris backpack that had speakers in it. We played Snoop's The Last Meal had just come out, so we were playing Snoop Dogg.
Oh no. Who is it? It's motherfucking Snoop Dogg. I live the fast life where you keep your cash tight. In broad daylight, walking with your flashlight, adding up what you brought in from last night.
Loud as fuck, walking down the street in the Loonies and all kind of, I think the Silver and Black album by the Loonies. We're playing that. I'm a raider. From the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. I'm a player, a boss player. If you're with me, pop your collar, shake them haters. Man, that shit, woo. And how crazy is that? They were 20 years ahead of their time predicting that the Raiders go to Las Vegas, from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. That song's still relevant and slap, even though I'm not a Raiders fan.
Cause I'm a Raider, Oakland Raider, from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Cause I'm a player, a boss player. And if you with me, pop your collar, shake them haters. I'm a Raider, Oakland Raider, from the Bay to...
So I was obnoxious. West Coast, half a crip, walking down the street, blaring Snoop Dogg's sugar-free DJ Quick out of my backpack. So we had to be down there around that time. New Year's, maybe 2000, going in 2001, probably New Year's shows. Me and my girlfriend are in love, holding hands, eating well, making love, having fun, loving going to the beach. We're going to Bondi Beach. Man, Australia's beautiful, Sydney's beautiful, Melbourne's beautiful, Adelaide's beautiful. It's a beautiful time. My girlfriend comes from Adelaide, stay with me. We met a guy named DJ Bones, who was dope with beats. We did 2 songs, Under Bosses, Keep It Poppin', and we did Writer's Blues. This beat slaps. It is amazing. Verse, basically it's about being depressed. Sessions of depression got me stressing something awful.
Sessions of depression got me stressing something awful. My family and friends and their smiles and it's awful, but it really don't help. The enemy's in the mirror and I can't face myself. I pray for help, but these drugs ain't working. Doctors don't know shit. That's the only thing that's certain. Feel like I'm about to die when my chest starts hurting. And I'm thinking that it's curtains, cause the Xanax they prescribe don't help control my vibe. I'ma live hip-hop till the day that I die, cause making good music's all that keeps me alive.
It's just the way that we ride. After all, what's most important, if it's something...
So this is when I'm trying to stop drinking, trying to get it together. Xanax, I was finally talking about Xanax. This is probably, right after I had my nervous breakdown. I have finally started going to see a psychiatrist, and they gave me the pills, which I got on right in good time. I found the right pills, but Xanax wasn't working. Then I got on Paxil. And there's one more, I forgot. And one of them, I think Paxil was the one we ended up on. I went through Xanax. I didn't even feel shit. But Paxil was the one that finally stopped me from having panic attacks and feeling normal. But then it was hard for me to orgasm, to say that. I don't know, I'm just talking honestly if motherfuckers are out there. Which isn't a problem, but is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to being able to please myself and also find sex pleasing. But if you're not able to reach that point, it fucks you up, especially if you're a young man. My only therapist, so like I'm still using music as my therapist. I haven't yet gone to group therapy, which helped tremendously. One-on-one therapy wasn't really working for me. Pills weren't working for me, but I was trying. So me talking about having panic attacks. Yeah, that was about it. Yeah. December, I said going into New Year's, we were going to the beach and everything because in Australia, it's winter. It is our summer is their winter, whatever. And the toilets flushed the opposite direction. Bones was talented. Shout out to Bones. I just found him on Instagram. I can't follow anybody on Instagram because I have over 7,500 friends, but this next song is called A Friend's Blues.
Now when you're young, death can make you aware of your mortality. At times we feel invincible, lose sight of reality until it takes a loved one residing in our circle. It'll hurt you cause you miss them once we're close. Now you're distant and it hurts just to know that they could go at any instant. Gotta love them by the minute, now you realize this. It's sad it takes a loss to appreciate the gift, so celebrate the occasion. Just breathing is amazing.
And it's mostly about the young lady that passed away and just losing people. I lost a couple other people A young man that I was an acquaintance of went on vacation and died at the beach, drowned. He was just an acquaintance, but it was just one of my first times also seeing someone. He was in college, like had something going for them and died. Like, okay, you get shot, you're from the hood, you're a gangbanger, whatever. You so dope, you got pop, is what it is. Sucks, but it's still what it is, you know. But for a young man at college, to that shit hit me, and just being an acquaintance, somebody I knew in passing. Then the homegirl passing away, it made me really think about things differently and friendships and how valuable they were. And being in Tucson is where I found a lot of just real friendships that weren't based on who you knew or rap or I just met people who liked anime, skateboarding, like the shit I liked. And in Tucson, it's like, and then you can go out and just be normal and have a drink and hear the songs you like and go home, be safe. The police don't fuck with you. Like, it's different, you know. Building friendships. I had also moved to Orange County. The person who did this beat was the homie Justin Martin, who also produced Transitions as a writer. And he worked at Liberty Board Shop, which was an amazing skateboard shop in Orange County. I went there. I don't know how I wound up there, but they were all fans and they would hook us up with skate shit. And I was like, holy shit, this is the love that I wanted to get as a kid from FTC that I never got. Liberty Board Shop, shout out to Matt Pendrell, James Craig, Justin Martin, Aaron, Cassidy, who now is doing Rasta Cloud, doing big things. Man, I'm missing so many people. Evan, Danny Garcia, Gershon Mosley, James Craig, Ronnie Krieger was around. The whole Blind team. This was the beginning of me meeting them. Like, I was making just friends. Like, oh shit, like we're adults and we hang out and we do things. And Justin, who did the beat, was one of those friends. You know, I was starting to lose friends and it was just a time. So that's where the song came from. The beginning of, like I said, me being able to get into skateboarding in a way that being a kid in Linwood, I wasn't able to. And meet pro skaters and learn things. And I think we'll get into the pro skater stories and all that stuff in the next episode. This next song is called The Deepest Blue, produced by Black Panther. I believe he's from New York, and I don't remember how I met him. He's an amazing producer.
I am going to die, and I've come to terms with that. But the wind wearing house where my concern is at. It's fucked up that I'll be dead once I've learned all of that. Fact is, we mustn't fear it, for fear is the mind killer. Elijah born to die, and there ain't nothing iller. There's life and there's death. All else is just filler, so that situation.
I don't like my raps. I loved the beat and I wanted to use it. It was kind of like drum and bassy to me. But it's just talking about coming to grips with the fear of death and what brought on my anxiety, things like that. Yeah, I remember like at that time still writing. It's just funny still seeing myself writing raps. I could still see how I wrote that rap. I knew I wanted it to be the last song on the Varsity Blues EP. I wrote that one when I was still living in LA. Living in this one bedroom where I had a mattress and a box spring because I didn't know how much mattresses cost. My first time spending $400 or $500, $450 or something like that on a mattress. That was my rent in Tucson. I had a kitchen with one like mini fridge with Vegemite that I used to play pranks on people, make them try it. So amazing. The first time you ever try Vegemite, make sure you try it. Just take a whole spoonful and try it. It's great. Tasty. I had the same blue couch that I moved with me to Orange County and a Dreamcast and a TV that sat on the floor. Bed on the floor, TV on the floor, Dreamcast, one couch, one mini fridge. That was the life I was living. And a pistol. I had a living room with no furniture and I was just living raw. So I bought a dining set when I moved to Orange County. Like it was of course, an all blue dining set with my blue couch. That's where we recorded Felt One. So maybe that's a good time to start telling Felt One stories. Deepest Blue is just about, like I said, the fear of death and dealing with it. The raps are horrible. I'm not in the pocket. The beat is phenomenal. A lot of the problems with my rapping on this is I'm still rapping super aggressive. When I'm talking about depression, I shouldn't be so attacky. I shouldn't have so many overdubs. I needed to be produced more. I think you could tell that on the Writer's Blues that were County Blues where Ant produced me, I didn't have a lot of overdubs. And when I do 316, Knife just doesn't allow me to do them, and I'm so grateful for that. The overdubs fuck it up. I think the mixes aren't where I would like them to be, but we're all kids trying to create, so I don't fault anyone but myself. Maybe some of these I mixed and some of these Todd mixed. Todd Mumford, shout out to him. It was just fucking raw ass talking about shit that no one was talking about at the time. Talking about therapy, depression, feelings, anxiety. This was very new to rap at this point, and I'm definitely one of the first to like call out. Those feelings have been there, those themes have been there, but like by name calling out some of these conditions hadn't been there, and this whole EP was for that. And I don't know if any colored boys who considered suicide were saved by it, but it saved me.
My personal therapy